Look, I know what you're thinking. You're looking at this board and you're wondering if I've finally lost my mind, but stay with me because we are about to build a defense so terrifying it'll have opposing quarterbacks checking under their beds for Cowboys jerseys. This is my full 7-round Dallas Cowboys mock draft, and it is going to be a wild ride from the first pick to the very last. Before we dive into the madness and break down why we went the way we did, I have one huge favor to ask: hit that like button, share this video with every Cowboys fan you know, and subscribe to the channel right now so you never miss a single second of our off-season coverage. Does building an impenetrable fortress on defense outweigh the desperate need for offensive playmakers in today's NFL? That is the massive, polarizing question we are tackling today. I'm using the simulators, and we all know they aren't flawless. Sometimes guys who stayed in school pop up, but I have gone through this with a fine-tooth comb to ensure we are only talking about players who are actually entering the league. The board fell in a way that felt like a gift from the football gods, but it also forced me to make some gut-wrenching decisions right at the start. The early picks were a bloodbath. Jeremiah Love, Reuben Bain, and Caleb Downs were snatched up before I could even get my hopes up. By the time we were on the clock at pick number 12, 3 massive names were staring back at me: Mansour Delane out of LSU, Sonny Styles from Ohio State, and Tennessee's Jermad McCoy. I'll be honest, I sat there for a long time thinking about trading down. I thought about getting cute and picking up extra picks, but when you have a guy like Mansour Delane sitting there, you don't play games. You take the talent. Delane is the pick at 12, and he is exactly what this secondary needs. He might not be the massive, towering corner that the Dallas front office usually falls in love with, but the kid is a pure football player. He covers like a shadow and has the technical refinement to play day one. I'm incredibly curious to see his combined numbers, if he hits that low 4. For range, any concerns about his speed are gone. He is a perfect fit for what Christian Parker wants to do with this defensive unit. Now, for our question of the day: if you are sitting in that war room at pick 12 and the board looks like this, do you take the shutdown corner in Delane, or do you pivot to the trenches? I want you to head down to the comments right now, drop the name of the player you would have taken, and tell me why. I want to see the debate get heated in the section today. As we moved into the late first round, things got even crazier. I had 4 different teams calling me to move up from pick 20. The Bears, the Niners, the Rams, and even Tennessee were blowing up my phone. I decided to pull the trigger on a deal with the Rams. We moved back to 29, added some much-needed capital, and watched the board shake out. While the Rams took Caden Proctor at 20, we waited patiently as guys like T.J. Parker and Christian Miller went off the board. When pick 29 finally rolled around, the choice came down to 2 names that have been sparking massive debates in scout circles: C.J. Allen out of Georgia or Akeem Mesidor. I want to know where you stand on this right now. Type CA for C.J. Allen or AM for Akeem Mesidor in the comments. In the end, I went with Akeem Mesidor. I know, he's an older prospect and he has some medical history that the team is going to have to vet thoroughly. But here is the reality: the Cowboys are in a window where they need, now, production. Mesidor is one of the most technically sound, polished pass rushers in this entire class. He dominated at Miami this past season after showing serious flashes at West Virginia. If he's healthy, he is an instant impact player who gives you double-digit sack potential from the jump. Sometimes, old just means ready, and Mesidor is ready to hunt. When we hit the second round at pick 56, I was looking for a safety, but the top of that board had been absolutely gutted. Rather than reach for a player I didn't love, I went back to the front 7 and grabbed Jake Gold out of Cincinnati. This guy is a throwback. If you look at his headshot, his neck is literally wider than his head. That is how you know a linebacker is going to be a problem for opposing running backs. He is a downhill thumper who racked up over 100 tackles last year, but don't let the thumper label fool you. He's a solid athlete who can hold his own in coverage. He brings a physical identity to the middle of the defense that has been missing for a while. As we transitioned into the middle rounds, the strategy became clear. We were building a unit that would make life a living hell for every quarterback in the NFC East. At pick 112 in the 4th round, we secured Genesis Smith. At 6'2", he has the center field range that defensive coordinators dream about. He's a rangy, single-high free safety who can diagnose plays from the jump and eliminate the deep ball. He's got the size and the ball skills to be a massive steal this late in the draft. Then came the 5th round, and I found a player I am absolutely fascinated by, Kyle Lewis from Pitt. He's a bit of a tweener at 224 pounds, and I'm sure some scouts are going to argue about where he fits. Is he a linebacker? Is he a big safety? Is he a nickel? Personally, I don't care what label you put on him, I just want him on the field. He is incredible in space, he's a sure tackler, and he was a standout during the Senior Bowl. He's the kind of versatile chess piece that creative coaches love to move around to exploit matchups. We weren't done adding to the pass rush, either. In the late rounds, we went back to Boston College to grab Quintavious Hutchkins. He might not have the flashy sack numbers that make the highlight reels, but if you look at his pressure rate, it tells a completely different story. He was constantly lived in the backfield and has a motor that never quits. I think his pro career is going to far outshine his college production, especially once he gets into an NFL strength and conditioning program. Finally, with our last pick in the 6th round, we double-dipped at safety with Cole Wisniewski out of Texas Tech. He's a high-production transfer who proved he could dominate at multiple levels of college football. He's a smart, reliable player who adds immediate value to special teams while providing much-needed depth in the secondary. I look back at this haul and I realize I've created an all-defense masterpiece. It might not be the draft everyone expected, but it addresses the core of what wins championships, stopping the other team from moving the ball. We've added a shutdown corner, a polished pass rusher, a thumping linebacker, and a trio of versatile secondary players. This is about building a culture of dominance. So, I'm putting it to you, the fans. How do you feel about this defensive takeover? Are you ready to see a Cowboys team that wins games 13-10 by breaking the opponent's spirit, or are you pulling your hair out because we didn't take a wide receiver? I want you to rate this mock draft on a scale of A to F in the comments below. Be honest, be brutal, I can take it.